Ever notice how sometimes you're just, fumbling through something totally new, feeling completely lost?
Oh,
And
definitely.
then it's like suddenly something just clicks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a recipe you finally get right, or I don't know, navigating some confusing software update, or even just feeling okay in a place that felt really, really strange before.
Those moments of sudden clarity.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into a collection of these kinds of very human experiences, little slices of life, really,
Right.
all focused on learning new things, finding your feet in unfamiliar situations, and those sort of quiet moments of personal growth.
Yeah, the everyday stuff that actually reveals a lot.
We've got glimpses into classrooms, new homes, the daily rhythms of relationships, all sorts of things.
Sounds fascinating.
Our mission, basically, is to dig into these moments and see what they tell us about how we figure things out. Sometimes, in the most unexpected ways.
It's amazing how these different stories, someone grappling with the new language,
Mm.
another adjusting to living somewhere new, a couple navigating their daily life, they all kind of touch on our basic ability to adapt and learn.
Yeah,
It's really fundamental to who we are, isn't it?
totally. Okay, so let's start with Millie. She's a new student from Thailand, and she's learning English.
Okay.
And you immediately get this sense of, vulnerability, being a beginner,
That exposure.
There's this moment in class, she gets asked a simple question, something about shopping at a market, and she just freezes. She says, I'm not sure.
Oh, that's tough.
And then you hear a classmate mutter something like, it's not that hard.
Oh,
You can just feel how that must have landed.
oof. Yeah, that kind of comment can be crushing.
What do you think makes that initial stage, especially with language, so hard? That public aspect?
Well, yeah, being put on the spot like that, especially when your confidence is low, it can create what some call a filter, like an emotional barrier.
A filter.
Yeah, it actually gets in the way of learning. The fear of mistakes, of being judged, it makes you less likely to take risks, to actually try speaking.
Which is exactly what you need to do.
Exactly. It's essential for making any progress.
But then something changes for Millie. Another student, Fanny, she sees her struggling.
Ah, okay.
And she offers this really simple but, powerful bit of support. She just says, English is hard, and then don't worry about them.
That's huge. Just acknowledging the difficulty.
It's such a small act, isn't it? Empathy. But it seems like a massive turning point for Millie.
Absolutely. That kind of social support is just vital. When someone shows that understanding, that encouragement, it can really lower that emotional filter we were just talking about.
Right, it makes sense.
It creates a safer space,
Yeah.
Where Millie feels more comfortable maybe making mistakes, trying out the language without that constant fear of judgment.
And then we actually see Fanny helping her actively. They start meeting at the library.
Oh, cool. Taking action.
Yeah. Practicing everyday words. We hear little bits like Fanny saying cereal and Millie repeating it perfectly this time.
Nice. Practical stuff.
Totally. They even tackle things like warnings on medicine boxes, keep out of reach of children.
Oh, wow. Yeah, real world English.
And watching movies together, Millie picks up slang like the word tripped. They even read books breaking down words like fearless and explorer.
See, what's interesting there is how integrated it is. It's not just passive study.
Right.
They're actively using English in everyday life, figuring out practical things, understanding entertainment. It's this kind of immersion combined with that focused practice that really makes learning stick, much more than just memorizing lists.
And it's clearly working on more than just her vocabulary, isn't it?
Seems like it.
Millie's confidence, you can just see it grow. She actually tells Fanny, I think I'm feeling more comfortable with English.
That's fantastic progress.
And then she says this really touching thing. She says, you're like a big sister to me. You really feel the emotional impact of Fanny's support there.
Exactly. There's such a strong link between our emotional state and, well, our ability to learn anything, really. When Millie feels supported, less anxious, her brain is just more open, more receptive to taking in new stuff and actually holding on to it. That connection with Fanny, it's a powerful motivator, creates this positive feedback loop for her learning.
So what's the big takeaway from Millie's story? Fanny kind of sums it up, doesn't she? Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, it sounds simple, almost cliche.
But seeing Millie's journey, it really shows how that consistent effort, even small bits of practice, leads to real noticeable progress.
Definitely. It's the consistency.
Okay, now let's switch gears a bit. Let's look at Layla's situation. She's moved to a new city for her parents' work.
Right.
And she ends up living with her landlord.
Oh, Okay, that is unexpected.
Yeah. Talk about an unusual living arrangement.
It certainly is. Less conventional for
Yeah.
sure. Layla's first thought, a little weird, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's totally understandable.
Completely. Moving is already a huge adjustment.
Yeah, right. And then adding this layer of living under the same roof as your landlord,
Yeah.
navigating those social dynamics,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
And the house rules, they sound pretty strict. No coming back after 11 p.m.,
Ooh,
no friends inside the house, quiet at all times, no overnight guests.
wow. It's restrictive.
Yeah. Layla feels like it's more like a prison than a new home.
Yeah.
It really captures that feeling of losing your independence, you know?
Definitely. What kind of challenges do those sorts of restrictions create when you're trying to, like, adapt to a whole new place?
Well, that's a good question.
Those kinds of really rigid rules, they can definitely get in the way of building a new social life, feeling settled.
Yeah, you need to meet people.
Exactly. When you're new somewhere, connecting with others, establishing that sense of belonging, it's crucial for your well-being. These rules just limit those chances that they can create feelings of isolation, making the whole adjustment process way harder.
But then, like with Millie, there's a shift. Layla gets a cold, just a minor thing. But her landlord, Mrs. Henderson, the one with all the strict rules, she actually takes care of her, makes her chicken noodle soup, tells her to rest.
Oh, really? That's unexpected.
Totally unexpected. It's this act of kindness that seems to come out of nowhere. What might explain that, Mrs. Henderson changing her behavior like that?
Well, it's a good reminder that people are complicated, right? Our first impressions aren't always the full picture.
Sure.
Maybe Mrs. Henderson's strictness comes from wanting order, predictability in her own home, which is fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she sees Layla actually vulnerable, sick, maybe her empathy, that basic human connection, it just overrides the rules in that moment.
Ah.
It suggests that, situations can really influence how we act, sometimes in surprising ways.
And Mrs. Henderson even says something really insightful later. She says, "We all have a lot to learn, Layla. Maybe even us old folks."
Oh, I like that. That's a great line.
Yeah. It's small, but it hints at this openness, maybe seeing things from Layla's side and acknowledging that learning isn't just for young people.
That idea of mutual learning, it's so important. It suggests maybe a shift in the dynamic between them, doesn't it?
Yeah, less landlord-tenant, maybe?
Maybe more towards like a reciprocal relationship. It opens the door for understanding maybe a more positive way of living together, recognizing they can both gain something from this unusual setup.
And Layla's perspective starts shifting, too. She ends her part thinking, maybe this won't be so bad living here after all.
A hopeful sign.
Definitely a hopeful sign after a pretty tough start. Now, we also got a quick glimpse, really brief, of a conversation between two students, Kelly and Alex.
Right after a test.
Yeah, after a difficult test. It's short, but it touches on those academic anxieties that stress many of us know well.
Yes, even in that little exchange, you see different ways of coping, right? Kelly's worried about what others think, while Alex seems more focused on their own performance. It just highlights how differently people experience and process that kind of academic stress.
Right. And that actually leads us nicely into another story, this time focusing on a couple, John and his partner.
Okay.
And we see them navigating just the everyday moments of their relationship. It starts with their morning routine.
Ah, the daily grind.
Totally. Sleepy John needing, like, multiple alarms.
Relatable.
And his partner gently encouraging him to get up for his exercise. What does that little snapshot tell us?
Even that tiny detail, it shows a dynamic of support,
Right.
right? Encouragement. One partner helping the other stick to their goals.
Yeah.
It highlights that interdependence you often find in close relationships.
Then there's a breakfast scene. They're missing bacon.
A tragedy.
Uh-huh. Leads to an attempt at Eggs Benedict that doesn't quite work out. But it's their willingness to try something new together, even if it's a bit of a culinary adventure, that stands out.
Exactly. It shows they're comfortable with each other, they have a sense of humor, they can laugh at small setbacks and just approach new things as a team. The focus isn't on getting it perfect, it's on the shared effort.
Yeah, the process. And then we see John struggling to move some furniture.
Oh.
He even jokes, this is a man's job, but then immediately needs help moving a chair.
Well, why?
It's funny and relatable. It touches on those sort of traditional ideas about physical stuff versus the reality of, just needing each other.
It's a really lighthearted way of showing how partners can move past those old school roles and just appreciate what each person brings, regardless of expectations. It highlights recognizing individual differences,
Yeah.
within the relationship.
The cooking dinner part is another great bit. Their first try at making lamb, it's described as a little bit weird,
Okay.
a bit dry, and the sauce is a bit too sweet.
Doesn't sound ideal.
Not great, but instead of just giving up or ordering pizza,
Right.
they work together. They start adding lemon juice, some chilies, trying to fix it. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic example of like collaborative problem solving right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It shows they could talk openly about what's not working, this sauce is too sweet, and then combine their efforts to find a fix. That kind of teamwork, when facing challenges, that's a key ingredient in a strong partnership.
And this whole thing leads into a deeper conversation. They actually sit down and talk about their weaknesses.
Oh, okay. Getting serious.
Yeah, but in a good way. John admits he's not a great cook. His partner wants to exercise more, get healthier,
Mm-hmm. Laying it out there.
and they come up with a plan, exercise reminders for him, and she suggests he watches online videos to learn cooking. It's mutual support.
What's significant about taking that kind of proactive approach together?
Oh, that's really insightful. That mutual support, the willingness to actually name the challenges and tackle them together, it shows a real commitment to, well, personal growth, but within the relationship context.
Right. Not just individuals, but as a pair.
Exactly. They're recognizing that their individual well-being actually contributes to the strength of the partnership, and they're actively helping each other get there. And we see their progress. Over time, his partner finds she's actually got a knack for sports, takes up martial arts.
Right.
John starts going to the gym, and their cooking skills genuinely improve.
Ah, success.
It's a testament to that mutual encouragement, isn't it? And that idea that consistent effort, small steps, leads to real personal development. They even reference Millie's story near the end, mentioning the advice, practice your English every day.
Yeah.
Highlighting how that same principle, consistent effort, applies across totally different areas of growth.
That connection between the stories, it's a crucial insight, I think. The basic principles of learning, adapting, growing, they aren't just stuck in one area, like language or cooking.
Right.
Whether it's mastering French or adjusting to a new job or strengthening a relationship.
Yeah.
That consistent effort, support from others, and being willing to learn from mistakes, those things are fundamental across the board.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, we've explored these wonderful little snapshots, haven't we? Everyday life. Learning a language with kindness, adapting to weird living situations with resilience, growing together through the normal ups and downs of a relationship.
Yeah.
It's just a powerful reminder, I think, that even in these seemingly ordinary moments, we can find really profound insights into how we navigate the world and how we connect with each other.
What really stands out to me is just our innate human ability to learn and adapt. It's built in, and it's so often fueled by connection, by the support we get from others.
Yeah.
These stories really underscore how important empathy is and perseverance, and also the surprising ways we sometimes uncover new skills or understandings about ourselves and the world.
Absolutely. And that brings us nicely to our final thought for you, the listener. Think about your own life, your own experiences. What surprising skill or maybe understanding have you unexpectedly developed or discovered about yourself, maybe through a challenging situation or something completely new?
Yeah, that's a great question to ponder.
It's often in those moments, isn't it? When we're pushed a bit outside our comfort zone or faced with something unknown, that's when we learn the most about our own resilience, our own capabilities.